Hey everybody, it is the last week of One Book July, so hope you all made it. I've noticed there's a waning interest and not as many videos, but it's been a really good experience for me. It kind of turned into the saga of the pens for me. Just to briefly go over my pen situation, my first fountain pen that I used that ran out of ink the first week, that has gone to a new home with my mother-in-law. I made her an art traveler's notebook and with a bunch of supplies, and that was one of the things I put in the Orla Kylie little travel kit that I made for her. So bought some refill cartridges for her, so she's really excited about that. So it's gone to a better home. My second pen right here ran out of ink, so I will just go throw that away. My third pen right here is the Pilot BPS, and that still has a little bit of ink, so that's good. My fourth pen, the Tool, I'm going to do a quick review on that. That ran out of ink. This one I would have really had high hopes for. It like I said before, it's a medium point, but it writes really fine. And it's a cool pen. And when I originally got it, there were refills on Amazon for like 99 cents. So I thought, well, that's fantastic. You know, I can cheap refills, good pen. I really like that, where you can refill pens. But now that I'm looking at it, the refills for some reason have gone up to like $10.99, which is ridiculous. Like you can't even, I don't know, that's just ridiculous to me. It's not even cost effective. And after using this pen, it smears and it's definitely not waterproof or water resistant. So unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to throw this pen in the garbage as well, because it's just not gonna be working long term for me. With the ballpoint, it's been kind of interesting. I thought I was completely over ballpoint pens, but I have kind of fallen back in love with them. I don't have very many left. I have probably 2 ballpoint pens left in my entire house. And I'm finding that I really like the way it wrinkles up the page and makes it crinkly. It just feels kind of cool. If you're a pen nerd like I am, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I don't have any plans to buy ballpoint pens, but if fine ballpoint pens come back into my life somehow, I will use them. So that's something that I've learned. As far as my planner, it's worked out super great. I have really loved this. Last year, as I said, I was too late to join One Book July. This year, I was ready for a change. My refill inserts from my Franklin Covey had run out, so it was time for me to go to a new system, so I was really ready for this. As far as next year, I don't know. I definitely plan on doing it. It just depends on my situation. But I at this point, I'm definitely going to give next year a try because this has been a really good experience for me. Couple problems for this week is, again, with the Girl of All Work tabs. Clearly, you have to use a brand new pack because now I'm having problems with the outside ones falling down with the adhesive. So, no big deal, but just, if you're interested, I love these tabs. They just have to be new when you're using them. Pretty much everything's the same. I told you about my payday sticker fail last week. I've tried to take them off and it's not working. So I have undo, but these are such mini stickers. I don't think it's worth it for me. And I also have said that these boxes are a little bit too small, so I probably will end up with just a new calendar. It's not that big of a deal. I have half of it printed already. So the other thing that I have changed is, which is not that big of a deal, are these stickers right here that I talked about with the hole reinforcements and then the circle in the middle. I have been using the circles. I've been using the outside reinforcement, but I've actually been using the circles on my my monthly, because I ran out of my mini camera stickers, which is again fine. And so I've been using these, and I actually prefer these better. And these are just the days that I film and post a video. This is my media calendar that I started using. So I like that, and I've also started using them as kind of a check off when I do my goals. So this is my goals for the month. I still have another week, so I'm not going to do a report on that yet. And then, pretty much the week's the same. Here's my, I'll show you my Post-it experiment, my sticky note experiment, that is finishing up, and that will probably be, I think this week or next week is when I'll do a video on that. So I've taken them off my bookmark dashboard. So quick review on my planner. Everything, the system itself is working beautifully. I love it so much. There are a few things that I will probably tweak. The system itself is fine, but there are, I think, just some, like I said, just a few things I just need to tweak starting next month, which I'll probably do a video on that next week for that. I took this out to do my notes, but this is my thin Tomo River paper Midori insert. I originally was really skeptic about this because it doesn't have any lines, but it ended up turning out okay. So I think this, surprisingly, I think I do like this, and I will probably, I still have more pages, so I want to use it up, obviously, but I wouldn't mind getting another one just for that, because it turned out okay, and I didn't have to end up using my pencil board or anything like that with it. So good news there. Then the other thing, I'm going to tell you a couple things that I've actually learned from One Book July. What I have definitely learned is, I have said before that blue-black is my favorite color, but if I have one pen to choose, I am always going to use blue. That's what I've learned. Love blue over the blue-black if I only have one color to choose from. I do like only having one pen. I think it was, Courtney from The Little Ink, when she talked about in one of her videos that you have so much stuff, and it's so paralyzing when you have so much stuff, but when you pare it down and just pick one thing, like for instance the one pen, it really is freeing. And that has been an eye-opener for me. I knew already that I had way too much stuff, but this has taught me even more that I still have way too much stuff. And so I am going to implement that in my next months as I'm planning, as I'm just going to pick a few supplies that I'm going to use. I am going to bring back some color. I did learn that I could live without color. The last 2 weeks I didn't use any washi or stickers. I only used my pen. And I can live without it, but I do prefer color. My brain thinks in color. And I can also, like I said, live without washi and stickers. That's another thing I really didn't think I could live without, but I can. It's okay. Then I think it was Tracy Reinhardt, which she mentioned that you start with nothing and then you only add what you need. And I think that's what the One Book July taught me as well, is just that you start with your basic system. The basic system I have now is absolutely working for me. I love it. It's actually working out way better than it has in the past year. I've been struggling for a year with the system that I had set up, because I realized, and I've said this before with my Franklin Covey and all my other planners I've ever had, every single one, my Erin Condren, everything, I've always just had a monthly and a weekly, and I've struggled and struggled and struggled, and I don't, again, I'm pretty slow, but I have finally figured out that I don't need a weekly. I absolutely have to have a monthly, and I absolutely have to have a daily, which was kind of surprising for me. I thought for the daily I just could get by on, just a little Post-it that would fall off, but that doesn't work for me. I have to have a daily. And the weekly is nice. I don't need the weekly calendar. I do need some kind of weekly task list, but I don't have to have an actual weekly per se. It is nice to have a weekly just to plan some things out, but that's what I figured. So it's been really good. Back to my pens, I also figured out that I knew this, but it was drilled back into my head that I really prefer micro tip pens. It needs to be about a 0.3 is what I prefer. And so I'm going to stick with that for my main writing. And then all the other color coding and everything else can just be whatever. I don't really care. The other thing I figured out is that with my main planning system, which are my dailies, this has turned out fine, but I think I will probably end up wanting to cover these in the future, just because they start getting really, I don't know if you can see, but just really frayed and kind of ratty. It's just, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal, but I just think I'm gonna cover them in the future. And then the other thing I figured out with my traveler's notebook, and if for those of you who have traveler's notebooks, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, but it has to feel right. And at this point, mine feels really, really good. It is not too fat and it's not too thin. So I actually have my insert out of it, my blank insert out of it right now for my notes. But I figured out it has to like fit in your hand like this. Does that make sense? I know it will to you who have traveler's notebooks, but if it starts getting more rounded, it just doesn't feel right, and that's when you are like, this isn't working. So it just has to feel really good. I could probably fit just maybe a little folder in here, but nothing else. This is set up perfectly for me. It's working. I'm going to continue with this, like I said, with just a few tweaks in the future coming up, because I haven't done them yet, but I will show you next week. Anyway, I hope that I can see more videos from you guys and tell me what else you figured out as well. Briefly, I think with week 1, I was really super excited and kind of nervous, anxious, excited. Week 2 found me depressed and kind of humbled and sad because I was struggling with how limited I was with myself and how I felt like everyone else was doing so well with every single system out there in one book, and I was struggling with just the one. So that just bummed me out. And then week 3, I started feeling more hopeful and kind of relieved that it was okay. And then week 4, which is where I'm at now, I feel confident and happy, not overconfident or anything, but just confident where I'm at and comfortable. So that's kind of been my journey with my One Book July experience this year. Anyway, I will talk to you soon, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.